things have changed at Corny as well, with Illis Trio and DJ's Trio going head-to-head yesterday. And a lot of the times, DJ's Trio were really giving them a lot of grief in that location. So now Illis Trio have moved to Orchard, now that Plague has moved over to Coral Castle. Those are the main change-ups when it comes to contests. Those are the main changes that come in the competition itself. Other teams, other trios are sticking to their preferred POIs. But as we all know, with this being the second day now in FNCS Finals, things have the potential to change on the fly all the time. But it's getting very exciting. We're one down. We've got 5 more to go. And I'm feeling great. I'm very hot right now, as you can imagine. But hey, it's Halloween. Happy Halloween to all you guys. I'm loving every single second. I can't wait to see the leaderboard as well. It looks very, very meaty indeed, considering that the Ceases Street have just gone all the way and got the picture. I think there's 11 eliminations as well, which is going to make a huge difference to their final point tally as well. And you see on screen the victory royale from Cease & Co. The high ground, absolutely winning supreme, reigning supreme in this contest. So let's take a look at the standings, and you can see exactly what is up right now. Muzz, Mira, and Billy didn't say it. They were our prediction yesterday. It took all the way. Things can change, as we said. Are currently sat at the top, got 138 rating points, 52 eliminations, 222 points, which is absolutely monster. Huge total there. In second position, you see those Esperaz, individuals, and Chris coming in with 213. Same amount of eliminations, absolutely 129. A ton of placing points. And it's looking real, real good indeed. For the rest of the leaderboard, you can see as well, 3 teams now crossing that 200-point threshold. You can see that's a half the table between 11 and 20 positions as well. Pam, Kerry, and Thatch topped that with 134 points, 20 eliminations, 94 placement points. We can start to see other teams starting to move away through the ranks as well. Legion, Aegis, and Canada right on their tails, 10 points behind them. Day two coming our way. What a great start to proceedings. Take it away, over to you.
Yeah, listen, honestly, that was an excellent breakdown there. Adam keeping us in the loop all the way through. The replay package was perfect. We didn't really get to see that early game fight for Cease and his trio, but we noticed how detrimental it was to the standings for him, right? That was crucial.
Massive, right? Obviously, like we mentioned, imagine them to get up and pick up a victory round because of that was so huge. We'll see what we can do to the next couple of games, because like we said, at the end of yesterday was the momentum fight, and if you've got 5 more games, you've already lost 1, are you going to be able to win every single fight after that? Like I'm not entirely sure. Honestly, one thing I really want to mention there, though, we got a glimpse, and I mean a glimpse at Adam's costume. It just flew in so much. I'm already looking forward to see the breakdown of that when it comes to the next end of show.
Hey, man, everyone's came dressed to kill today. I love all the fits are coming out. You know, we're all dressed in a likeness to some of our favorite Fortnite characters here. See you, Agent Peely. I'm in the
I didn't even see the mask. I didn't even realize you had the mask down
I got
there,
it,
man.
baby. I'm out here. We're going all the way through with it. Listen, what a game. And an even better game and an even better story developing now for Cease. I'm super excited to see the vet come on back here and fight his way up the standings. Like I said yesterday, it feels very nostalgic seeing such an OG find his grip today, find his footing alongside some of the new boys he's running with. And listen, it's setting up to be an excellent day so far for the FNCS. And then let's give a hats off to Booga, who is up in the lead right now with just a ridiculous game, man. Miro does not stop.
Yeah, they've had a pretty mental match history so far. The back and forth. Remember, I'll set the scene. I'll repeat what I said yesterday about them. And when I saw this team play in the first Cash Cup of the season, they were getting a ton of 5th till 10th. They weren't, or 6th till 10th, should I say. They weren't able to keep going into that top placement thresholds. The 5th, the 4th, 3rd, 2nds, and the 1sts. But from now on out, like, they've definitely managed to fix that a lot. They got 3 thirds so far, looking real strong. And let's jump back over to Coral Castle. We've seen this fight happen on that, obviously, breakdown from Adam there. This is going to be a critical fight for the rest of the day as well.
Yeah, this time we get to watch it from the beginning. Not looking too hot for Elite, who only has the SMG right now and very limited build. So farming here is going to be absolutely crucial, but more importantly, backing up his teammates is going to be even better, but Cold is going to get sniped out pretty quickly here. Now, the real question is, does Elite and Cease run away here while they still can, tuck the tail between the legs and get out? Seems like that is going to be the play. They'll return a little later for the goods of the reboot card, but no, Elite gets picked off in the distance. The builds are going to give away Cease's position there, and it's looking like wraps right now.
Yeah, we saw the big turnover. That moved them up to third place so far. If they go down now, that's going to leave way too much room open for Bucky, Peterball, and Macwood's team to start climbing up the leaderboards too. You see Plague starting to wrap around the back as Bryce and Flucam have the angles on them. And I don't know what Cease has got. I don't know if he's been able to harvest, got that many materials from here on out, but this is going to be a rough one to turn it around.
Wait a second, there's a team shooting from the top here behind Cease, is giving them a little bit of additional coverage here. They don't seem to know that Cease is in the cone, so that team is farming effective surge right here off the trio of Bryce and company. Now, they know where Cease is, and I mean, he got some good tags here, but what's going to come about it?
Not a lot, unfortunately. So Cease is going to go down at this point. Plague's going to pick that one up. That's going to be some points on the board for them in day number 2 for them. So the fight still ended up being relatively fast. Coral Castle's a notoriously slow POI to harvest, loot, and get out of. In particular, fights here usually last a long time. We see the zones go way deep in the fights in here. So for them, that's going to be big, and hopefully maybe they can capitalize on that and actually get a big game out of this rather than fumbling like some of the other games we'd say that they have. Back over to Spexy, Zemo, and DeQuented, man. These guys were just lighting up yesterday. I'd say more lighting up me and you's eyes than anything else, because they were just fighting everyone.
It's the team that's going for the record of how many teams can they fight, how many squads can they take on in a singular tournament. Zepexi's crew already have taken care of pretty quick care of Aspect, it seems, and Ufishi's left by himself right now to try to clutch this one up. It's not looking too hot for him. Down low, Kaz is going to go ahead and be still a part of this battle going down right now. Yeah, it's just not looking too hot for them.
Ganzo's trio is also starting to look in third party. They hear this mess. Spexy's used his final build here. He's got tons of heals that he can utilize to get back up, but if he starts getting sprayed, he's got nothing to protect himself with. And yeah, Kaz goes down to the third party on the low ground. Hoofishy's still fighting up with Spexy up above, and he's definitely got the HP advantage up there. It seems like Hoofishy's just going to try and play the angles, as we see DeQuented on that far bottom right also dip on out of here. So I mean, this is just getting a bit scrappy now. Spexy's team obviously a duo, and like we said, we've seen his teammate just absolutely leave him behind. He's luckily managed to find a car for himself, and he'll be able to go north, the complete opposite direction. So I think this is going to be a game of 2 solos. If they manage to meet back up at some point with some good loot, I mean, that's going to be a miracle.
I mean, it might actually work out because of the disengage here from Zepexi. Gonzo's trio might not realize that Hoofishy is just kind of vibing out inside those old builds there. Yup, seems like they don't have a singular clue that he is there. So Ufishy, as long as he can keep low profile, should be a-okay here in the moments to come. He's just got to time his exit before meeting with this team. And look at that, Gonzo finding some leftover big pots and other scrappy loot from the previous elim. So good on them to continue to just stay pretty much capped off and in a decent spot for the game. Not to mention the free elim they got.
You gotta remember, yesterday, the last time Spexy's team pushed in here, they got rolled out by Hoofishy's team. Remember, it was like veterans against obviously the new and up-and-comers, and they put them in their place. I'm actually quite surprised to see them pushing in here for a second game, honestly, because, I mean, what we saw from Spexy's team is that they were confident, right? They would push anyone. They just honestly weren't fussed who it was, the names, the reputation. They just wanted to get in and fight, and today, even after getting rolled over by them in one of the games yesterday, you know what? They're back for a little bit more of action.
Again, right back into the swing of things. But like, are you really surprised by like how crazy they've been playing? Oh man, at this point, I just don't know.
That's what I mean. I'm impressed by the.
I don't know what to expect at this point. That's my take on the trio.
Yeah, they're definitely one to look out for if you're in the lobby. You know, leaderboards not so much right now. Maybe in the next season. Maybe when they figure things out. You know, maybe Grand Royale. Maybe they master this plan. But if you're in the lobby, you definitely got to be careful, right?
Take a look here at the fun stat for Jamper's trio, who's had 42 points in their first 3 games. Now 116 the last day 3 in the last 3 on day 1. So showing the difference in the pacing of their first half of the tournament compared to the back half. The majority of their points picking up in the final 3 games. Should they be able to continue that momentum they picked up at the end of yesterday?
I mean, first game, 17 points. So kind of slowed down already. They're actually, with that 17-point first game, already on track to do exactly the same thing they did before, right? Get 42 points in the first half and then over 100 in the second. So for them, maybe they're just like later half of the tournament kind of guys, because they did the exact same thing in qualifier 2 where they ended up actually placing second, or the qualifier that they ended up placing in, sorry. I think it was actually qualifier 1. They did the same thing, right? Like the first half of their games, pretty poor, right? Just kind of accumulating a couple points, but the second half was, you know, a match history that you'd be in awe at if you managed to get in a tournament. So maybe they're just like second half demons. Maybe they're just like queuing late to get the low elo W key lobbies. That's probably it.
That kind of reminds me like back in the day when like Saf and company, they sort of either win the first game and then like die out and then come back at the end. Kind of how Aqua was back in the day too. Remember, Aqua was notorious to just start off so poorly on EU and then just turn on the gas and go crazy at the end.
Look at like the match history from World Cup itself from Aqua. Like that should say enough in the way that they ended up winning in the later half of that kind of tournament. And a lot of the players are the exact same, and a lot of them it's mentality based, momentum based, right? If they have a bad couple games, like some people get tilted and play worse, but for some of these players, they just, you know, they lose that edge. They're like, what's the worst that can happen if we take this fight? And if they're dominant fighters like Day's team, they get more confident and just keep dominating off spawn in these mid game fights, and then they get that momentum up and the same thing happens. So, you know, it really just depends on the team, the personalities, and everyone's different.
I'm just gonna coin it the Aqua Pace.
The Aqua Pace?
Okay. The Aqua Pace, man. And then we'll name the fast track the SETI way. You know what I mean? We'll come up with something cool with it because we have two sides of the coin here.
Yeah, we'll work on the terminology. I think we'll work on it before we next come back.
Terminology, but EU leading the story here for me.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We'll check back in with our now second place team, right? I could have called them the winners, or not the winners. I don't want to crown them too early. The current leaders, but obviously after that previous game, they've dropped down now 9 points behind the first place team, still 11 points ahead of CISA's team in second. And we know that CISA's team's already out. They're the only team who's currently dropped out of this game. 31 teams remaining. So this is a really slow game. The teams are really pacing themselves here. So a lot of the teams up at the top, this is an opportunity for them to spread the gap and get a little bit more ahead, as we see Austin doing a good job getting some tags onto a player who's not really got much shield on there.
Well, the crazy thing is, you know, they managed to lose their first place spot, but they did so good last game. Fourth place with 3 eliminations, like just straight up consistent, picking right up off that second place. 13 elims they had in game 6 yesterday to close out the tournament. So just truly on a tear right now. But how can you compete with Bugha, Miro, and Muzz's, what was it, 5th place, 11 elims? They're just on a different kind of time right now.
That they are, and like, you know, if your team, like, what was interesting, remember what flew in the stat that we saw from visuals is that he had the most elims out of all players. So it was quite surprising to see them in that previous game have quite a low quantity in comparison to the rest. You didn't get to see too much of their actual end game from their POV to see how that went down. But obviously, you know, it's hard to catch up when you're seeing a team pop off with double digits and you're down on the low 4s, right? You know, it's rough because that's a big point swing, and that's often what we see is the big difference, right? We see those teams who are able to get it to the top 5, but the teams who are able to do that pick up a couple mid-game elims that are easy to get those points, the 5th zone ones, and then maybe 4 or 5 in the end game. Like the teams who can do that are a scary threat to be reckoned with.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't force it either, right? Like for Bugha, Muzz, and Miro, one of the trios they wiped was quite literally the greater ones in the lobby. Pam, Carrie, and Fatch, who needed Surge, W keyed into their box, granted them 6 points in that previous game. Talking about that trio, they're in the mix right now with another 2 just absolutely deadly set of players right here who are killing the tournament right now. Edgy and Rise, who are alive up top. Seems like they're only operating as a duo. Lost a member here, but there's Commandment, Sensitive, and Stretch on the other side as well. So Carrie, Pam, and Fatch really trying to, I guess, change up the strategy a bit here, get more proactive earlier.
See how it works out for them, like you said. They were really good on the previous day in day number 1 at getting points every single game. That first match was a bit of an outlier for them in terms of how poor it was, and kind of causing a lot of this awkward congestion in this area. You know, for this south side near Misty on the water and the lake area here, a lot of the teams get kind of rough because someone has to swim, someone has to leave from this spot, and with four teams I can count, it seems like right now, yes, 4 teams set up here, that makes anyone a target if they start to go in. They're gonna have to drain tons of their materials, so I already see this being a lot awkward. But with these south zones, this is actually one of the most difficult areas to start working around. What you got to realize is that if that zone pulls south again, all these players have to start rotating over that, and people set up in Misty will be good, and Stormster's looking rough for them. Yeah.
Look at the feed.
Ooh,
Miro finds
hold on.
2 knocks, by the way. Ooh. That was onto the baby boss and Doles, the trio that was just nearby them. So they've either opened up massively or decided to fully commit into that box. Either way, disaster is being thrown across the map right now for some. It's not looking too hot for Rise and Edgy right now, who are not only battling a surge issue, but they're obviously down a member in threats there, who fell to the hands of Stretch, it seems, because Stretch did have a singular elim. But back over Miro. We already saw him pick up 2 in the feed here. Look at that. They're going to make quick work of what's left.
These guys are on a tear today. Like, honestly,
Crazy.
so far, these guys look way more confident. Like, I'm seeing so much good aggression. It is too soon to call it. Yes, yes. We're not on EU. Come on, right? We know what happened there so far. But obviously, they're starting to take away with it, absolutely. And in the feed so far, we've also seen Bucky, Peter, but Naku go down on 177. So for Miro, Booga, and Muzz, like, these guys are actually living up to their reputation. These guys are all-star players, and I was even questioning them yesterday when we watched some of the games. Like, how is this team dynamic working out for them? But honestly, it's working out